Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I think I inhaled an Albuquerque pollen
Yes.
when I was talking. I think the lawyer's gotten a bum rap for 2,000 years. Having just dealt with lawyers as a result of being the interim minister here at Canterbury, I appreciated the gift of lawyering, which is to be very precise about language. You know, I'm happy to go this and that and the other thing, and the lawyers translate it all into very precise language so that everybody, the lawyers especially, know what it means. So let's just keep Ted's rehabilitation of lawyers in our minds this morning. Who is my neighbor? When you ask that question, there's still silence in the room. There's silence in me as I ask that question. Fortunately, I'm asking it of you, not of myself. Who is my neighbor? There was a sound of crickets when Jesus was asked that question too. Who is my neighbor? In St. Francis of Assisi's time, the 12th century, lepers were a cause of great fear among people. People didn't know how they got it. There was really no way to cure it. Lepers had unimaginable physical torment, but also societal torment as they were ostracized and kept out and lived basically by the tombs. Francis of Assisi, you know, the original party boy, like others in his day and time, had great fear of lepers. So here it was, this privileged young man riding his decked out horse one day, and passed a leper on the road, and he did what most folks do, is go round them. But later, he wrote, something stirred in him, something deep and something decisive. He said that he realized that for him, this was a critical confrontation, this leper he passed by, confrontation with himself. Himself is God and his neighbor. So he went back, gave the leper some money, and in an act of incredible courage and bravery of the time, he embraced him, kissed him, and blessed him. Later, he said he believed that he had ministered to the living Christ in the form of that leper that day. Who is my neighbor? In Martin Luther's time, the bubonic plague was sweeping its way toward Wittenberg. You know, it's estimated 30 to 60% of the population of Europe died in the plague, in one of these plagues. Imagine that you walk out your door and over half your neighbors are gone the next day. So his protector, Prince Frederick of Saxony, ordered Luther to leave. You're too important for the Reformation. You get out of here. We'll handle it. Get out of here. But Luther still disobeyed Prince Frederick, and with one other pastor stayed in Wittenberg as the plague swept in. He wrote a treatise about it in 1527. I think Luther wrote a treatise about everything that happened to him in life. And this one is titled, Whether One May Flee from a Deadly Plague. Good title. And he answers it yes, and he answers it no at the same time. He says, yes, flee the plague if you are weak in faith, if you are very fearful, and if no one needs you for service to them. It's better to go ahead and leave than to say, well, I know nothing can happen to me, and I'll just wait this one out. So yes, you can leave. And then he said no. Three categories of no. No, if you are clergy, get over it. You believe in eternal life. Get over it. Secondly, if you're a public official, this is exactly what public officials are for, right? To handle chaos, change, all this stuff. So no, public officials don't need to go. And third, he said, you cannot go if someone is dependent upon you for their care. Parent, child, only surviving relative of someone who is ill, if you are the only neighbor who's in a position to stay and help because all the rest have run away, then you're not excused, wrote Luther. Someone must be there. Who is my neighbor? We got more closer. Who is my neighbor? In 1973, Frederick Buechner, who was a writer on the spiritual life, wrote an engaging book called Wishful Thinking, a Theological ABC, in which he took on this question of who is my neighbor. And again, I think he was a little harsh on it, but here's what Buechner had to say. This, in Buechner's words, are what the young man, what the lawyer expected to hear out of Jesus' mouth, because the lawyer was used to precise language, and he didn't need just generalities, he needed precise. And so this is what Buechner says the young man, the man wanted to hear. A neighbor, hereinafter referred to as the party of the first part, is to be construed as meaning a person of Jewish descent whose legal residence is within a radius of no more than 3 statute miles from one's own legal residence, unless there is another person of Jewish descent, hereinafter to be referred to as the party of the second part, living closer to the party of the first part than one is oneself, in which case the party of the second part is to be construed as neighbor to the party of the first part, and one is oneself relieved of all responsibility of any sort or any kind. And now Buechner continues. Instead, he writes, Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan, the point of which seems to be that your neighbor is to be construed as meaning anybody who needs you. And then Buechner writes, the lawyer's response is left unrecorded. So my friends, I think in that unrecorded silence, the Holy Spirit was working on this lawyer. And in our silence, when we're asked who is my neighbor, and the crickets, that often happen to me when people ask me that, hopefully that's where the Holy Spirit